Hi everybody, it's Brian here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So in today's episode, we're going to be looking at the importance of collections in terms of maintaining them, keeping them organized, particularly when our portfolio starts to grow larger than perhaps maybe what can be contained on one page. Obviously, this is a very important tool to use, particularly when you want to ensure that your customers have a very simple and easy to use customer experience on your shop. So stick around, there's a lot of information to share. And as always, before we continue with today's episode, the fact that you're here gives you an indication that you are interested in all things pertaining to print on demand. And for that, welcome to the channel. I want to sincerely thank you for taking time out of your busy day to sit down and watch this episode. I certainly hope that this episode will provide you with a lot of great actionable tips and value. And if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon so that you'll be informed each and every time that I upload an episode to my channel. I upload episodes every Wednesday and Saturday, and the main goal of this channel is to help you reach a higher degree of success with your print-on-demand business. So with that said, let's hop over to my computer and take a look at the importance of collections. Okay, now before we head over to my computer, I just want to inform you that at the end of this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a really important tip that through my experience of dealing with other Redbubble sellers in terms of reviewing shops, designs, and what have you, I've been noticing that a lot of them, and I have a good feeling that there are quite a number of you who are probably doing this mistake as well. I'm going to be sharing a tip that's going to help you with respect to collections. So do stick around till the end of this episode where I will show you a real cool trick in helping increase the user experience for your customers. So let's hop over to my computer. Hi, so welcome back to my computer screen. And as you can see here, we are on the managed portfolio of my Redbubble shop. Now, this Redbubble shop is a fictitious shop that I created specifically for today's episode. And in order to highlight the whole aspect of collections, what I did was I downloaded a number of designs from Pixabay pertaining to a number of niches that I just came up with off the top of my head. And I'm going to take the perspective that you are a new shop owner to the Redbubble platform, and I'm going to be showing you how to create collections, how to organize them, and tips and tricks of what you can do within each of the collections in order to make them a lot more feasible, a lot easier to be found, and to give the customer a friendlier user experience. So here we have a number of designs here on my screen. As you can see, they're photo-based, and we have cats and dogs, maritime, we have guitar playing, crochet, deers, what have you. Now, basically, what I would suggest that you do is that as you are building up your portfolio on Redbubble, the moment that you hit 20 designs, I would highly recommend that you start creating collections. Why? Because if you wait a lot longer to start the collections and your portfolio starts to grow exponentially, the task of putting all of those designs into collections can become rather cumbersome if you leave it too far in. Now, if you get into the habit of actually allocating these designs to particular collections when your Redbubble shop is still relatively small in terms of design numbers, it's going to be a lot easier to put them into collections. You're going to get into the habit of doing it. And in truth, when you actually need to put certain designs into a collection, you're only thinking about 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or however many you would have created in that given day to put within a collection, rather than as opposed to having 200 and having to have to diversify them and divide them into a number of collections and put them in. It's just too cumbersome. So I would highly recommend, as my first actionable tip, is that if you are new to the Redbubble platform, you've just started a shop, the moment that you hit 20 designs, start putting them into collections. And it is super simple to do. I'm going to show you right now. So let's take a look at the first 3 photos that we have in this portfolio. And as you can see, they pertain to cats. So if I want to put them into a collection called cats, the first thing that I want to do is I want to click on each of them to toggle them on. And then in this collection section, I'm going to hit the drop down, and where it says new collection, I'm simply going to type in the word cats. Now, in order to tell Redbubble to put a new collection called cats in my overall collection area, I'm going to hit the plus symbol. And as you can see, cats has now been placed in my collection. All I have to do is click on it and choose add. And those 3 photo designs will have been put into the cat design. Again, it's very simple to do, so I'm going to toggle off these ones, and now I'm going to create a collection called dogs. So I'm going to toggle them on, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to click on collections, and I'm going to type in the new collection, I'm going to type in dogs, hit the plus symbol, wait for Redbubble to put them in. As you can see, it's over there. I'm going to click on it and click on add. And it's as simple as that. Now, I went ahead prior to the creation of this particular episode and created collections for all of the other designs so as not to obviously make this video far too long. So now if I had to move into the shop view of this account, as you can see here, I have 39 designs within this particular shop, and at the top you can see that I have my collections laid out by Redbubble. So I've got maritime, deer, elephant, fishing, gothic, and I can continue scrolling on till I get right to the end of the list for the collections. Furthermore, if we look at the left-hand side now, all of the collections have been listed vertically, one underneath each other, so any customer visiting my shop can access any of the collections either through the vertical list over here or through the horizontal list on the top. Now, one of the important things that you want to do with respect to your collections is always create a featured collection. Now, a featured collection, as many of you can appreciate, is your collection of designs that you're really proud of, that you really want to highlight, you really want to get people's attention to have a look at when they visit their shop. And it is super simple to do. So basically, what you want to do is back in your Manage Portfolio section, when you click on your avatar here, you're going to want to click on Dashboard. So when you click on Dashboard, it's going to take you to this page over here on Redbubble. And just over here, the third selection under Artist Tools, you'll see Shop Settings. When I click on it, I'm going to be given this option over here. And as you can see here, it's a featured collection, and you can choose which of the collections you've created to feature as your featured collection. And it's simply just a matter of clicking on the drop-down arrow and then scrolling through them and selecting which particular collection you would like to have featured. So let's say I want to choose motorcycle. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to choose Save Settings. And when I go back to my shop view and I hit F5 to refresh, I'm now going to see the featured collection appearing at the top in a very nice, big and bold manner. And obviously the products that I've basically toggled for each design is going to appear with the design in this particular collection. Now, don't mind the way the designs are appearing on these particular products. The whole point of this exercise was not to show about product placement. I have other videos on that matter. It's basically to focus on the collections and what you can do with them and how important it is to use them. So for the moment, let's just ignore the product placements. Let's assume they're all nicely placed and they're very professionally looking. And now we're just tweaking our shop with respect to collections to make the shopping experience for our customers that much nicer. Okay, so now if we go back into our portfolio section, we want to take a look at what we can do with respect to the collections. Now, if I click on this collections tab over here, we're going to be taken to the actual menu where all my collections are housed. Okay, and as you can see here, we've got maritime, deer, and elephant. And if I had to just click on the cogwheel icon here for maritime and choose edit, I'm going to be presented with what you can see on my screen now. So we've got the title of the collection, we've got a description, which currently is empty, and then we've got the 3 designs that I put in the collection. And as you can see, this particular photo here has been designated as the collection cover because in fact it was the first photo that I uploaded into this particular collection. Now let's say for a moment that I'm not happy with having this particular photo as the cover collection. Well, let's say for example I wanted this particular design. In order to change the collection cover from one to the other, it's simply a matter of just clicking on the cogwheel for the particular design that you want to have as the collection cover. And then when the window opens, you see Set as Collection Cover. You're going to click on it. You wait for Redbubble to work. And then as you can see here, now the collection cover has been designated with this particular design. So if we go into the shop function and we're going to hit refresh on the screen by hitting F5, you can see now that the collection cover for maritime has now been switched to the 3rd design as opposed to the 1st. Okay, let's go back to the collection over here and this area called the description. Very often when I'm reviewing Redbubble shops and I click on the collections in order to see what kind of information is provided, it's very often that I find this section to be empty with no information whatsoever. And in truth, this is quite a pity because The information that you place over here can be fundamentally important to your customer and indeed to Redbubble when it's trying to index all of your designs within the marketplace. Remember, a very important tip is that whenever you find an area on Redbubble where you can actually type in some kind of information that is going to be of benefit to your shop in terms of being seen by customers, don't leave it empty. Add some kind of information so that obviously Redbubble will have a lot more meat and potatoes in order to be able to figure out where your designs need to be indexed and how they need to be indexed. And it's simply just a matter of putting in a couple sentences just to give that human perspective to as well. And with respect to description, you're only entitled up to 200 characters. So anything after 200 characters, then it's not going to be seen in the description. So what can we put over here in terms of description? Well, we can actually tell the customer what it is that they're seeing. So this is a collection of my favorite maritime photos that I am presenting to my customers. Makes a great makes a great gift idea for the holiday season on items such as t-shirts, stickers, and hoodies. Now, let's take a look and analyze what it is that I've done over here. So I've added a few keywords over here. So it's going to give a description of this particular collection. So we've got maritime over here. And in my second sentence, I sort of gave an idea to my customers. I sort of did a little psychological strategy tactic on them by actually giving them an idea of what it is that they could actually purchase the design on. Now, many of us know that stickers and t-shirts are probably the two top most popular items that are sold on Redbubble, stickers being more so than t-shirts. But you wouldn't be amiss by putting in a high ticket product item within this particular list as well. Now, why would I do that? Well, the reason for this is that many places on this planet are now in the autumn season and will soon be moving into the winter season. For most people, these particular seasons are very cold and they would want to have some nice warm things to keep them nice and cozy when going out, or maybe whilst inside, and perhaps maybe they're feeling a little bit on the cold side. So a hoodie is a great piece of apparel that they could consider wearing to do just that, keeping them warm. And by having your design on a hoodie as opposed to a t-shirt, well, they're spending a little bit more money, which in turn is going to mean more profits for you. Now, if you don't want to put hoodies, you could put duvet covers. You could put throw blankets. You could put any of the other items sold on Redbubble that has a higher profit margin that's going to lead them to consider purchasing it, and it obviously means more money in their pocket if they do and actually make the purchase. So definitely a tactic that you want to keep in mind. Don't leave the descriptions empty for your collections. Doing so means that you're potentially leaving money on the table. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to update the collection. And now if I go back to my shop view and I click on the maritime collection, you're going to now see my description is appearing at the very top. Okay, this is a collection of my favorite maritime photos that I'm presenting to my customers. Makes a great gift idea for the holiday season. At the time of publishing this video, we are in the fourth quarter. Christmas is around the corner. A great thing to buy for the holiday season, either for themselves or for a family or friend, such as t-shirts, stickers, and hoodies. So as you're going through this particular collection, I've already set the cogwheels going in their mind to consider certain products that I would hope to lead them to make the purchase. So a very important tactic, one which I hope that you will actually consider and put into practice with your own respective collections. Now, okay, so let's go back to viewing all our collections. Now, what happens if by mistake you actually add a design to a collection that shouldn't be there? And I actually made this mistake on purpose as I was uploading my designs to the collections, basically to highlight this. And it's very simple to actually get rid of that particular design as well. So if I go into my fishing collection, you can see here I've got an elephant in my fishing collection, which clearly should not be there. So I'm going to click on the cogwheel icon here. I'm going to select edit. And when the collection opens, I'm going to click on the elephant icon, and I'm going to then click on the cogwheel icon, and I'm going to choose remove from collection. Obviously, it's going to ask you if you really want to remove it, and obviously you're going to click OK to confirm. and a few seconds later, that design has been removed from the collection. Now, let's say, for example, you have a collection of about 100 designs already. You're well underway in your portfolio. You got a lot of creative juices flowing. The motivation and inspiration was there. And lo and behold, you have a collection of 100 designs. And then all of a sudden, you come up with 10 more and you want to see what you're going to do with them. Well, as many of you know, and for those of you who don't know, Redbubble offers you the opportunity of creating up to 30 collections. And within each collection, you can put in 100 designs. Now, over time, if your collection has grown, and let's say, for example, you have some designs that have been selling very well, but there have been some which have really dried up. Maybe they're dated, perhaps maybe the style of design is no longer in vogue, and you just want to get rid of them. Well, you could get rid of them individually, but that would be very time consuming. Or what you could do is you could actually highlight each one. Let's say, for example, I wanted to get rid of the last two in this fishing. So I'm going to click on the first one. I'm going to click on the second one too as well. And because of the fact that they're toggled, when I click on remove from collection, Redbubble is going to give me the opportunity to get rid of those two in one go when I click OK. And effectively, you could do the same thing with as many designs in the collection that you would want to get rid of so that you're only doing it once. And then once you get rid of them and make space, you can then go into the other designs you just uploaded and actually allocate them to that design. So I don't want to remove these particular designs from this collection, so I'm going to click cancel. But again, you can see it's very simple to do and not time consuming at all. Okay, so now we go back to view all collections. All right, now we can see that we've got all of our collections here listed and they're really happy with them. But now we're going to go into probably the most important tip that I want to share with you that I mentioned earlier in this episode. You see, when I'm actually reviewing a number of Redbubble shops, whether asked of me or otherwise, I tend to notice that a lot of collections are listed in a haphazard way. What do I mean by this? Well, very often people like to see things in alphabetical order. Why? Well, let's take the example of having a shop where you have 30 collections in it. You've maxed out your collections, you've maxed out your designs, and somebody is looking for a particular design. When you have your collections in alphabetical order and your customer visits your shop, let's say, for example, they're looking for Gothic, because I don't want to use motorcycles since I created that as my feature collection. So let's say that they're looking for Gothic. Okay, they already know that in the alphabet, the letter G falls towards the top end of the alphabet. So if my collection is in alphabetical order, they're already going to know that when they're scanning the collection, they just basically have to look at the top portion of my collection. And lo and behold, they're going to find the letter G and they'll find Gothic, which then they can click in and actually go into find. The same holds true as if they want to find sea turtles as a collection. They know that because of the fact that my collection is in alphabetical order, they just have to scan towards the bottom end of the collection and they're going to find sea turtle there, as opposed to having to scroll through the entire list trying to find where sea turtle is, particularly if the collection list is not in alphabetical order. And again, that would actually cost them more time, and if they're an impatient type of customer, they're not going to spend that time looking through it. They're just probably going to say, you know, it's not worth it, and bounce to another shop. But if you keep it in alphabetical order and they just go straight to the bottom of the list and then just search those few seconds to find sea turtles, well, they're actually going to be able to click on it. It's a happier experience, and they're going to be in a better frame of mind to look through your designs and actually hopefully make the purchase. Now, how can we go about putting our collections in alphabetical order? It is remarkably simple. So obviously, if you know your alphabet, and I hope you do, we're going to know that, for example, crocheting is definitely going to come before maritime. So if I wanted to put the crocheting collection right before maritime, all I need to do is hover my mouse button over the collection, anywhere over it, doesn't matter. Click and press the left mouse button, and whilst pressing it, you're just going to drag the collection right up to the top before maritime. And as you can see, now crocheting is before maritime. Now we have some other collections beginning with the letter C. Now we have country music here, and as you know, CO comes before CR. So I'm going to click and I'm going to press and drag it all the way up. Now don't worry if it doesn't go in place straight away. You just click on it again and move it until you put it in the appropriate place. So now we have country music then crocheting. Now I believe we also have another C. We have cats here. So we're going to do that. We're going to click. We're going to drag it up. And it doesn't matter if you let it go wherever you want. If you run out of room, you can always just scroll back up, click on it again, and drag it right to the top. Okay, now we have deer is definitely going to come before maritime, as with elephants. So as you can see here, it's not taking me long at all to just click and drag and put them in alphabetical order. So that's going to go before maritime. So pigs comes after maritime. We've got motorcycle. That's going to go right after maritime, but before pigs. Okay, nursing is going to go before pigs. Then we've got sea turtles and dogs. Now dogs obviously has to go up after any of the C's. So we're just going to drag that and bring it right up after deer. And as you can see here now, we have our collections all nicely laid out in alphabetical order. And if I go to my shop view here and I hit F5 on the keyboard to refresh, I'm going to go back to all collections. You can see now that both in the horizontal bar and in the vertical bar, all my collections are in alphabetical order, and that's going to make the shopping experience that much more enjoyable to my customers, because it's not going to take them long to have to scan through the list of collections in order to find what it is they're looking for. So there you have it, everybody. As you can see, it really isn't that difficult to create collections, but it is fundamentally important to have, particularly when your portfolio starts to get very, very large. You want to make sure that you're giving your customers a real easy and convenient way of shopping through your designs. And as we stated earlier, collections allow this type of facility for your customers, particularly if they're looking for a particular niche, especially if your shop is a generalist type of shop and not perhaps maybe, niche specific. So it's really important that you do create your collections, that you try to tweak them every now and again, refresh them, rearrange them a little bit. If you have more designs than your allowed collections, then every once in a while, try to take a look at, see which collections are maybe not bringing in you sales, and, remove those in favor of other designs that perhaps might bring you sales too as well. In this particular game, you really have to strategize and try different things to keep your shop looking fresh, to give a really nice experience for your customers to visit. And hey, it gives your shop the appearance of being new and fresh, and people do like that when they come to visit. So I hope that you found this particular episode fruitful and of value. If you did, please do consider hitting the like button and sharing this video with others. But for today, that's all I've got. And as always, be safe, be well, be creative. Bye for now.